Imagine this, you're standing right at the edge of something familiar, something safe. Behind you, warmth, predictability, comfort. But in front of you, the unknown, the storm, the possibility of more. And right now, in this moment, you have a choice. Step back into what's easy, or step forward into what could be extraordinary. But here's the hard truth. Comfort is a liar. It whispers, stay. It's safer here. But it never tells you the real cost. That every day you choose comfort over courage, you're not just standing still, you're falling behind. Your dreams don't live in the safe zone. Your potential doesn't grow there. The life you truly want, it's waiting on the other side of fear. So let's talk about the myth that's keeping you stuck. Let's expose the hidden price of comfort, and more importantly, how to break free. Because you weren't meant for a life of just enough. You were meant for more. And it's time to claim it. Ready? Let's begin. Imagine standing at the edge of a vast ocean, safe on the shore, toes barely touching the water. The waves are calm, the sun is warm, and everything feels comfortable. But deep down, you know there's more out there. There's a voice whispering, what if? What if you swam further? What if you discovered something extraordinary? Yet every time you consider stepping out of your comfort zone, an invisible force pulls you back. That force isn't fear, it's the hidden cost of comfort, and it's keeping you stuck. Society sells us comfort, like it's the ultimate prize, a cozy job, a predictable routine, a life free from struggle. But here's the truth. They don't tell you. Comfort is a slow poison. It doesn't scream in your face, it lulls you to sleep. It doesn't slam doors shut, it gently locks them over time. And before you know it, you wake up years later wondering, why am I still here? Why haven't I changed? The answer, because comfort has been silently stealing your growth, one easy day at a time. Think about the last time you avoided a challenge because it felt too hard. Maybe it was a new opportunity, a difficult conversation, or a dream you postponed. In that moment, comfort won. But what did it cost you? A better version of yourself, a life with more meaning. Every time we choose comfort over courage, we pay a price, not in dollars, but in unlived potential. The myth is that comfort is free. The reality, it's the most expensive choice you'll ever make. Today, we're going to shatter that myth. We're going to expose the hidden costs of staying comfortable and why it's the very reason you feel stuck. But more importantly, we're going to talk about how to break free, how to trade temporary ease for lasting fulfillment. Because the life you want isn't hiding in your comfort zone, it's waiting on the other side of fear. Our brains are wired for survival, which means they naturally gravitate towards safety and predictability, even when those things hold us back. Comfort feels like a warm blanket, shielding us from the cold uncertainty of risk, failure, and the unknown. Neuroscience tells us that our reward systems light up when we choose the familiar path because it requires less energy, less stress, and fewer threats. But here's the problem. What feels safe today often becomes the cage of tomorrow. That promotion you didn't go for because it seemed too demanding, the business idea you shelved because it felt risky, the relationship you stayed in out of habit rather than passion. These are the moments when comfort seduces us, whispering that staying put is the smarter choice. Yet comfort is a master of deception. It doesn't announce its traps, it lays them quietly, one small compromise at a time. Skipping the gym once turns into a year of inactivity. Avoiding a difficult conversation morphs into a lifetime of resentment. Procrastinating on a dream becomes a retirement filled with what-ifs. The real danger isn't the occasional lazy day, it's the slow, invisible erosion of ambition. Consider the employee who stays in a dead-end job for decades, only to realize too late that they traded financial security for fulfillment. Or the artist who never shared their work fearing criticism and now wonders what could have been. These aren't failures of talent or opportunity, they're failures of courage, casualties of comfort's illusion. The price of staying safe is always paid in the currency of regret. The good news, it's never too late to break free. Every time we choose comfort over challenge, we pay a price. Not in dramatic, obvious ways, but in the quiet erosion of what could have been. Growth doesn't happen in the safe zone, it happens in the stretch zone, where friction and discomfort force us to adapt, learn, and evolve. When we avoid that stretch, we freeze ourselves in place. Think of a muscle that never gets worked. It doesn't just stay the same, it atrophies. The same is true for our skills, our creativity, and our potential. The more we cling to routines that demand nothing of us, the more we shrink our own possibilities. Progress requires resistance, and comfort removes it. But the cost isn't just stagnation, it's a silent theft of confidence. Every time we back away from a challenge, we reinforce a subconscious story. I can't handle this. Over time, that story becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. The person who avoids public speaking never discovers they could have been compelling. The one who dodges leadership roles never learns they had the ability to inspire. Confidence isn't built in theory, it's forged in action. Without testing ourselves, we don't just lack confidence, we lose trust in ourselves entirely. And then there's the deepest cost: legacy. A life without risk is often a life without impact. The people who change things, who invent, create, lead, and inspire, are the ones who refuse to settle for safe. Comfort might give you a peaceful existence, but it rarely leaves a mark. Years from now, no one will remember the days you spent playing it small. They'll remember the moments you dared to try, the risks you took, the stands you made, the difference you chose to create. The question isn't whether comfort costs you. The question is, are you willing to pay the price? The reason you feel stuck isn't because you lack opportunities, it's because you've been conditioned to see discomfort as a warning sign instead of a doorway. Here's the paradox. The fear you're avoiding is actually the path to your freedom. Every time you resist discomfort, you reinforce the illusion that safety equals success. But true liberation comes from leaning into the very things that scare you, because on the other side of that tension is growth. The athlete doesn't become stronger by avoiding the burn, they embrace it. The speaker doesn't find their voice by staying silent, they step onto the stage. Your fear isn't a stop sign, it's a compass pointing you toward what matters most. But you don't have to leap off the cliff all at once. Lasting change happens through the 1% rule. Small, deliberate steps outside your comfort zone, taken consistently. Read one chapter of that book you've been putting off. Have one uncomfortable conversation you've been avoiding. Spend 10 minutes on that project that intimidates you. These micro wins rewire your brain, proving that discomfort isn't dangerous, it's productive. Over time, these tiny acts of courage compound into unshakable confidence, turning what once felt impossible into your new normal. The final shift happens in your self-talk. You're stuck because you've been telling yourself, I can't. But the truth is, you can. You're just choosing comfort instead. Rewrite the narrative. Swap I'm not ready for I'll figure it out. Trade what if I fail for what if I fly. Language shapes reality, and the moment you start speaking like someone who embraces challenge, you become that person. Freedom isn't the absence of fear, it's the decision that your dreams are worth the discomfort. So take the step. The life you want is waiting, not in the safety of the shore, but in the waves you've been afraid to swim. Let's be honest, struggle sucks. That knot in your stomach before a big leap, the sweat on your palms when facing the unknown, the frustration of failing before you succeed, none of it feels good in the moment. But here's what nobody tells you. That discomfort isn't just part of the process, it is the process. Every great breakthrough, every hard-earned victory, every story worth telling was born from someone willing to endure the grind. The marathon runner doesn't love every aching mile, but they know each step is what makes the finish line meaningful. When you start seeing struggle not as something to avoid, but as proof you're moving forward, everything changes. You stop running from challenges and start leaning into them because you realize they're not roadblocks, they're the path itself. And what's on the other side of that fear? A version of yourself you haven't met yet. The confidence that comes from knowing you can face uncertainty and survive. The clarity of discovering what you're truly capable of. The opportunities that only reveal themselves when you dare to push past resistance. The magic happens outside your comfort zone, not because it's easy, but because that's where growth lives. That promotion, that business, that relationship, that creative vision, they're all waiting for you just beyond the border of your doubts. This is how you design a life that excites. rather than just comforts by making discomfort your ally. Instead of asking, how can I avoid the struggle? You start asking, what kind of struggle is worth it? Because when you align your efforts with what truly matters to you, the challenges stop feeling like burdens and start feeling like milestones. Your unstoppable future isn't built on avoiding fear, it's built on deciding that your dreams are worth the temporary discomfort. So embrace the suck. Push through the fear. The life you're meant for isn't hiding in safety, it's out there on the edge of your courage, waiting for you to claim it. The truth is simple but brutal. If you're not uncomfortable, you're not growing. Every dream you've deferred, every risk you've avoided, every excuse you've made, they've all been invoices paid in the currency of your potential. But today, that stops. Today, you reclaim what comfort has stolen. You were not meant for a life of just enough. You were meant for adventure, for impact, for a story worth telling. So I challenge you. Where has comfort held you hostage? What's one thing you can do today, right now, to break free? Because the world doesn't reward comfort, it rewards courage. The next chapter of your life begins the moment you decide that temporary discomfort is worth permanent transformation. So step out, take the risk, feel the fear, and do it anyway. Because the only thing worse than the pain of growth is the pain of regret. Your future self is counting on you. Will you answer the call? So here's your moment of truth. That invisible barrier holding you back. It was never as solid as it felt. Every excuse, every someday, every I can't was just paper thin. And today you start tearing through it. Because the world doesn't remember people who played it safe. It remembers those who dared to disrupt, to trade temporary comfort for extraordinary stories. Your future self is watching this moment right now. Will they thank you for staying or cheer because you finally started? Your comfort zone isn't your home, it's your holding cell. And you hold the key. So take that first uncomfortable step, then another. The magic happens where the fear used to be. Now go make it unforgettable. I'll see you on the other side.